Hey everyone, welcome to part 2 of this Baldur's Gate 3 trophy and achievement guide and walkthrough. Thank you so much for all of the engagement in the first video, all of the likes and the comments. One thing that I kind of gathered from those comments is that a lot of you have been looking for a guide like this, but there just isn't one that exists. So if you know of other people who are looking for a video like this or some sort of walkthrough, please share it with them. That's a great way to not only help to get this content in front of other people who might need it, but also helps the channel grow. And speaking of which, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please consider doing so. It really helps me out. And another way to help me out is by becoming a channel member. A YouTube membership is similar to a Patreon account where you can donate a few dollars a month just to go to a content creator to thank them for the work that they do. People in the past have asked me to set up a Patreon account so that they could support me financially. I decided instead of going that direction just to go straight through YouTube, and I just try to keep it all centralized right here. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can explore this by hitting the join button right under this video, and that will take you to the membership screen. And there are two different levels of membership. There's the Matador Minion. That tier provides you with loyalty badges as well as member shoutouts in my videos. And then there's the Matador Master level, which provides you with those same benefits as the Minion level, and you also get early access to new videos and priority reply to comments. So if you have questions, I'll answer yours first. I did want to provide a shout out to one of my members, and that would be Casting Out Nines. Thank you so much for your membership. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to providing great content to you and everyone else in the future. Now, I want to be very clear about something, and that is, if you are not in a place where you feel comfortable donating anything or becoming a member, then please do not do that. Don't donate to me or anyone else. Your finances and your family's finances come first. These are tough times for a lot of people, and I really don't want you to feel obligated to do anything like this. It's only because people ask me to do this as a means of saying thank you above and beyond a normal subscription or liking a video. So, sorry for that long intro. Now let's get back to the guide. We'll start by leveling up our character. As a level 2 monk, you get an increase to your health and additional key points, as well as unarmored movement, which increases our movement speed by 3 meters while not wearing armor or using a shield. You get patient defense, so attack rolls against you have a disadvantage and you have an advantage on dexterity saving throws. You get Step of the Wind dash, which doubles your movement speed, and jump no longer requires a bonus action. And Step of the Wind disengage. You retreat to safety by disengaging. Jump no longer requires a bonus action. That all sounds good. Let's lock it in by holding down triangle, and now we can proceed on. We're going to keep going down the path, and there's going to be a mangled fisher. We can loot him for a little bit of gold, and then up ahead we can see a familiar face. So here's Shadowheart lying on the ground. And let's talk to her. Let's wake her. If you reach for the artifact, I don't think she's going to like it very much.
You're alive. I'm alive. How is this possible?
Doesn't matter. We made it.
True. Seems like we're the lucky ones, judging by all the corpses strewn about. I remember the ship. I remember falling. Then nothing.
Do you have any idea where we are?
No. I don't recognize this place. But anything's an improvement on where we just came from. First things first. We need supplies, shelter, and most of all, a healer. We might have escaped, but we still have these little monsters in our heads.
What happened to our Gith friend?
You might want to reconsider calling her a friend. Looks like she ran off without us.
You want to stay together, I take it?
We need each other, and we both know what's at stake. Can't think of better company.
Alright, let's get moving.
One thing, just before we go. I wanted to thank you again for freeing me. It would have been all too easy for you to run right past my pod, but you didn't. I'll remember that. Lead the way.
Toward the end of that dialogue sequence, you may have seen in the upper left-hand corner it said Shadowheart approves. Now, what you do in your choices and in your actions has an effect on how people feel about you. And what we want to do is to get Shadowheart to approve of us, because we need to raise our affection level with her a little bit, and that will allow us to get a trophy later on. So what you want to do is generally to be nice to people, and that will allow her to gain some affection with you, and that makes it a little bit easier for you to get that trophy a little bit later on. So what we want to do now is just run around and to collect things in the world. There's going to be a lot of different bodies that we can loot. There are plants on the ground too. If you want to see what's around you, you can hold down the right analog stick, just push in that R3 button, and that will highlight things around you that you can see. So either just tap it to get a quick view of what's around you, or hold it down, and that allows you to really narrow in where you're going. As we're going through the game too, I'm just going to pick up as many letters as I can. You don't have to add them to your inventory, but you do want to read them as you go, because like I discussed in the first part of this guide, we do need to read 100 different things throughout this game. So always make sure that you're reading letters. Sometimes they unlock quests for you, or we can gain some valuable information. I'm not going to read them all out loud for you. Feel free just to pause it if you're interested in the lore, or if you're playing your own game, you can of course read them yourself as well. In the upper left-hand corner, you can see a note about camp supplies. As we're going around, we want to collect as many things as we can, like food and drink items, as well as just camping supplies in general, because those will allow us to refill our health and do long rests at our camp. And there is a trophy for doing 4 long rests in one playthrough. We'll definitely do that, don't worry about it. It takes 40 supplies in order to do a long rest on Explorer difficulty and Balance difficulty, but on the Tactician mode it's actually 80 supplies, so much harder to do those long rests and get all of your health back on that harder difficulty. There's another fight up ahead, so before we go over there and do that, we're going to level up Shadowheart. You can do that just by looking at the portrait, hitting L2, and then going down to select her, and then you can hit the R1 when her profile is shown, and that will bring you into her level up menu. You can also hit the R2 button to bring up the main menu, and then you can level her up from there. Shadowheart is now a level 2 cleric. She gets the Turn Undead ability, as well as the Invoke Duplicity ability, and she gets another Channel Divinity charge, and a level 1 spell slot is unlocked, and a little bit of health increase as well. So she does also have access to magic. We have 5 prepared spells and a list of known spells there. You have to prepare the spells outside of battle to be able to use them in battle, and there's just a full list of the known ones, so you can swap them out as you go around. Here we are in another fight. There's going to be a couple intellect devourers that we have to take care of. We're just going to run over there and hit him, and then we do have another bonus action allowing us to hit again with another unarmed strike. So let's go ahead and choose that and take him down. With him out of the way, let's go ahead and loot his body. We have the Intellect Devourer Cerebellum that we can collect from him. And then I want to move up a little bit, but not so close so that they can just run up to me and attack. I'm going to hang back and be a little bit strategic here, let them come to me so I can get the first attack off on them. This one's going to dash forward just to get close to me. The other one will also dash. Dashing uses up the action ability, so he's not able to attack me on that same turn. So he's right next to me. I'm able to now attack with Shadowheart, do some good damage. She doesn't have a follow-up attack like my monk does, so I'm just going to skip the rest of her turn and now use my character to run over and take that one out. Now I can try to get a little bit closer to him, but I'm not able to actually take him out this turn. I can do some damage, however, with that follow-up unarmed strike, so we'll just run up to him and hit him, and he's going to take a lot of damage, but not enough damage to take him out. He hit me for 7 damage with his claws attack. Didn't like that so much, but I'm going to move up Shadowheart and then finish him off with my monk.
You fight well. Perhaps our survival isn't such a distant prospect.
I wanted to loot this body, but there was nothing there, so we're just instead going to run kind of straight forward. There's a kind of a broken ramp in this area, so you can climb up here, and then if you hit R1 to bring up your action menu, you can go over to the right and then use the jump command and select to jump up to this upper level here. So it shows you the path that you're jumping. We got up to the top and we can loot this dead mind flayer. He's got some interesting things, so let's go ahead, take all of that stuff, and then we're going to be able to go down to the next section here. We're going to hop down and go back to the middle, and then over on the opposite side there's one of those big chests up top. So what I wanted to do is be cool and do a super jump all the way from down here up to the top. However, as you'll see, it didn't quite work out that way because all I did was run around to the side and just walk up the ramp here. I could have just done this to begin with. I didn't have to jump all the way over there, so kind of a mistake, but whatever, it is what it is. And we're able to loot the dead mind flayer up here as well. So with all that done, we can just now go back down this path and just keep running straight out of this area. I ran through some purple goo there and I got a pop-up talking about surfaces. Know that some surfaces like that goo or like the fire on the ground here, they can have effects as you go through it. So you can use that to your advantage in battle, but sometimes you'll just take damage if you go through them. So be a little bit careful about where you walk. We'll head down by the water here, see what there is to see. We're able to look around here for some myrrh grass. We'll just go ahead and pick that up and pick up some of the other things along the way as well. So now we got a tutorial about alchemy. So our party found some things that we can do. Let's just go over here, pick up the belladonna as well. I'll show you what the alchemy looks like in just a second here. So we picked up everything in this area, and then we're going to go over toward here, and I'm going to pull up the alchemy menu from that main menu hitting R2. Now there's different things you can make, like coatings and grenades, elixirs and potions. You need the right ingredients to be able to do that, and all of these recipes are shared between your party members, so it doesn't really matter who you've selected at this point. In order to make those things, you need to actually create the extracts for it. So here you can see we have the myrrh grass, the suspension of myrrh grass. So we can go ahead and create that as well. And if we had more belladonna, we could make some more things as well. So you need to make the extracts in order to make the different things in the alchemy menu. You need to create 3 different recipes, like the potions or whatever, in order to get a trophy. So we'll be doing that a little bit later on once we've collected more materials. Well, here we have a chest that is locked, so we're going to go ahead and try to roll for it to lockpick it. We were able to successfully do that, and that uses up some of the thieves' tools that we have, and inside this trunk we can pick up a little bit of gold and a leather helmet. Well, with all that out of the way, now let's continue going up the path here, and all you really want to do is hang a left at this section, and you're able to run around. There's going to be some balsam at the end of this path, so go ahead and grab that. That gets you the Ashes of Balsam recipe, and now we can go further down this path here, kind of back the way we came, but we're going to hop down to the lower level here. So if you can't run down, go ahead and use that trusty jump command, and you're able to hop down. It does tell you if you're going to take damage by falling too far. There are ways to mitigate that a little bit later on in the game, but just choose a place that's a little bit close by and you don't have to worry about that. Sometimes if you go through water, you do incur a little penalty to your movement. This is not one of those places. However, I could just walk through here, but I decided to jump as well. If you have a high enough nature score, you're actually able to see things in the rock down here and you're able to collect them. However, my nature is pretty terrible, so no luck for me. Maybe for you it'll be a little bit better. And now we're just going to head back across here and we're going to climb back up the way that we came, and we have to jump up over this gap here to get up to the upper level. Sometimes party members will follow you, and sometimes they won't. Shadowheart got stuck, so I'll leave her there for now. I'm just going to run up this path around toward the left side, and there's a new person to talk to.
Hurry! I've got one of those brain things cornered. There, in the grass. You can kill it, can't you? Like you killed the others?
Easily. Stand back.
There. Can you see it?
just a dumb boar. You're relieved, until you see the flash of a dagger.
Put it away. We don't need to fight.
Don't we? I saw you on the ship. Free, scuttling about. You're in league with them, aren't you? Those tentacle... Ah!
Your mind twists. You're looking out of unfamiliar eyes, prowling dark, busy streets. You try to hold the memory, but it fades to the worm. The light, the fear.
What was that? What's going on?
It's the Mind Flayer's worm. It connected us.
The worm. Of course. That explains things somewhat. And to think, I was ready to decorate the ground with your innards. Apologies.
Apology accepted. I might have done the same were the roles reversed.
A kindred spirit. My name's Astarion. I was in Baldur's Gate when those beasts snatched me.
Introduce yourself. You're a Baldurian too.
Is that so? We clearly move in different circles. So, do you know anything about these worms?
Yes, unfortunately. They'll turn us into Mind Flayers.
Turn us into... Of course it'll turn me into a monster. What else did I expect? Although, it hasn't happened yet. If we can find an expert, someone that can control these things, there might still be time.
You should travel with me. Our odds are better together.
You know, I was ready to go this alone, but maybe sticking with the herd isn't such a bad idea. And you seem like a useful person to know. All right. I accept. Lead on.
Well, Astarion has now joined our party and he's eligible for a level up, so let's get to it. Astarion is now a level 2 rogue. He gets a few new actions. These are the bonus actions of Cunning Action Hide, where after he attacks, he can then go into hiding. He can also dash away and disengage from the enemy so that there aren't any opportunity attacks from the enemy. After that, we're just going to keep heading down this path and then over toward the right side. There's a whole lot of things to watch out for in this area, like the fire on the ground. Don't step in that, and keep going forward.
There. A mind flayer. But it's hurt.
The Mind Flayer is a little bit hard to see. He's actually under the rubble just to my right here, so we'll walk over there and then talk to him.
You approach the dying monster. This is the thing that abducted you. You could end its life here and now, if only you didn't feel compassion. Compassion.
Give in to the emotion.
The poor creature is on the brink of death, but there's still time. You'd give your life to save it, to nurse it back to health. But then the feeling slips. The creature's mind seems to focus elsewhere.
Let's use our intelligence to try to concentrate on its thoughts. We now have a skill check going for a 10. Now we have a -1 for intelligence here, so we need to roll at least an 11. We get a 9, unfortunately, so that drops down to 8, and we failed.
You try to break through, but its mind is impenetrable. The monster lies exhausted, defeated. Its eyes, wet orange pearls, radiate malice.
Close those eyes forever. Well, I tried to be nice, but in the end, I had to kill him anyway. But we got some experience out of it, and we can loot him. Sorry for the weird skip there. I just had to go back and collect Shadowheart and come back to where we were. So this is the same area where the Mind Flayer was, and we're just going to go straight through it, and now we can walk up these steps to get to the upper level. Watch out for this fire here. It is better to jump over it than to run through it. That way you can prevent lighting yourself on fire and taking a little bit of damage. So luckily, your other characters are smart enough that they will automatically jump over some of those hazards. So let's keep going up the path here, and we can see a shovel sticking out of the ground. We can pick up this shovel, and then we can interact with this dirt mound to do a little bit of digging. And what that does is it will reveal a treasure chest. There is a trophy for getting, I believe, 5 treasure chests in one game where we have to dig them all up. So we're just going to make sure that we always collect these treasure chests whenever we see them. We're going to keep that shovel in our inventory so that whenever a dirt mound pops up, we can dig it up. Well, let's go from that treasure chest over toward the left side. There's a kind of cross path there. We're going to go toward the left. It will autosave, and then if you go a little bit further, there's a cutscene.
Open the bloody gate!
Nobody gets in! Zevlor's orders!
That pack of goblins will be on us any second!
What's going on?
Goblins are on our tail! Open the gate, Zevlor, now!
You let goblins here? Where is the druid?
Please! There's no time!
By the 9 hells! Open the gates! Damnable roach! Provoke the blade and suffer its sting.
After the cutscene, we get thrown into a fight. So starting off, we're going to proceed up onto the upper part here. There's going to be a couple guys on the way up. We can use our monk to attack once, take that guy out, and then we're going to go up, but we're not going to kill this enemy up here, even though we probably could with that follow-up unarmed attack. Instead, we're going to now take Astarion. We're going to go up to the high ground here so that we can get a high ground advantage that gives us a +2 to our attack to attack the enemies down below. So we'll take a shot here. Fortunately, we did miss that enemy, and now it's their turn to start attacking. It's now Shadowheart's turn. We're going to proceed up. She doesn't have some great movement, so we'll get as close as we can and just kind of hang out here for the time being. Now we just have to let the rest of everyone's turns play out. So we'll have the enemy attacking and a bunch of NPCs attacking, and then it will go back to being our turn again.
Get to the high ground! Raiders! Destroy the bastards! For the absolute!
By sickle and sword, strike them down!
Okay, it's back to Masked Matador's turn. So what we're going to do is just kind of leave him up here for right now. We're not going to attack. Instead, we're going to take Astarion up to the top part here, and we're going to put him right next to this enemy. And now we're going to go into our inventory, and we're going to unequip our melee weapon, because what we want to be able to do is to attack him and do very little damage with that. So he can only do 1 damage like this, and in order to increase the odds of us hitting him, we're going to use his bonus action, which would be Cunning Action Hide. So we're going to hide right here. The enemy can't see us. That gives us an advantage to hitting him. It's an over 80% chance of hitting him right here, and we do 1 damage. Our goal is to get the enemy down to only 1 HP remaining. So we got 1 down. We have to remove 2 more HP. Let's take Shadowheart, and we're going to do kind of the same thing. We're going to bring her up right next to this enemy, and then we're going to unequip her weapon as well. Now, she has a little little bit better strength than what Astarion does, so we can actually get 2 damage off of her. So let's go ahead and attack, and there you can see indeed we get the attack to hit, and now that enemy has just 1 HP remaining, which is very, very good for us. What we're going to do on our next turn is have Mass Matador try to push the enemy, or shove, using that shove command, to push the enemy off of that high ground all the way down to the ground below. And what that's going to do is allow him to get the kill off of that push, and that's required for a trophy. So you'll see that in just a minute. We'll just use Shadowheart's bonus action to heal up one of the NPCs over there. Unfortunately, at the beginning of the fight, one of the NPCs went down and died. Doesn't really matter though, I just don't want another one to die as well. So we'll just use that extra action to heal her up.
Every last one of you!
Okay, here we have Mass Matador. We're going to go for the shove right here. So we will go over toward the right, hitting the R1 button, and we're going to use that shove command. And we have a 65% chance of yeeting him straight off of this cliff onto the ground. And there he goes. And we get the shove off trophy for killing an enemy by pushing them to their death. Now let's go all the way down and take out the enemy at the bottom here. I should note that you can get the trophy by shoving anyone to their death like that. It doesn't have to be that particular enemy. I just found that he was a very good early game opportunity to get that trophy out of the way, because it is kind of tricky setting it all up, because it has to actually kill the enemy, not just push them down with them still surviving. Now let's go and re-equip our character's weapons. So Astarion's turn, we'll put his weapon on. Unfortunately, when you equip or unequip weapons, it does use your primary action, so I can't attack with him this turn. I've just got to have to wait. And now that it's Shadowheart's turn, we'll run down and we'll do the same thing. We're just going to re-equip her weapon as well and then end the turn. And right here, this is why I love the monk, because I can't get all the way to him normally, but I do have a bonus action called Step of the Wind Dash, which doubles my movement. So I can go all the way over to him here and run right up next to him. And then I can use my normal unarmed strike attack, my normal action, and that will be able to take him out, and we win the fight.
That was the last of them. Inside! All of you! More may follow! Open the gate!
Now, all the NPCs are going to go inside this area. It's called the Grove. We don't want to go in there yet, so we're going to ignore where they're going, and instead we're going to take this path backwards. And as we run around here, we are able to unlock a waypoint, and that's just a fast travel thing. So we're able to zoom around the map. There's this little thing over here called the Ancient Sigil Circle, and if you look at that, we have the Emerald Grove Environs. That's our fast travel point here, and the map is pretty huge in this area, so there's a lot to explore, and that's just one location that we can use to fast travel around. Well, now let's start running back toward the path, and we're going to stick toward the left side. So we're going to hug that left side wall as we go around. In just a moment, we're going to switch control of our main character over to Astarion, because there's some dialogue options that we have going forward, and he gets a bonus to Deception and Persuasion, which are very useful coming up. So right around the cart there, you want to switch over and then run forward to a cutscene.
Zoru was right. Yellow as a toad, twice as ugly.
The thing's dangerous. Leave it for the goblins to kill.
And if it escapes, how will you... Oh, A guest.
Your skull pounds in response to the prisoner's white-hot stare. Her lips don't move, yet you hear her voice.
Get rid of them.
Let's use deception. This creature is dangerous. Get out of here. Leave it to me. Here we have a skill check. Our target is 10. We get a +4 deception proficiency bonus, and we'll also use the bonus for guidance to increase our odds even more. So let's give that dice a roll and see what happens. And we got a 12 +4 and then another 1 on top of that, so a 17 is definitely a success.
He's right. Let's go. We need to check out that blast.
A blast? I could use more specifics.
You didn't hear it? Shook our camp good, so we came for a look.
Persuasion. I'm in dire need of healing. Where is this camp? We get another skill check now. The target's only 5, so we pretty much have it guaranteed with just our persuasion bonus and the guidance. So let's give it a roll, and we get a 12 +1 +4 for another total of 17, and that's another success.
Northwest. Look for Nettie. Whatever your wound, she can mend it.
And be careful. There are goblin traps everywhere.
Nymessa, come.
Enough gawking. Get me down.
Now that they're out of earshot, sure. Well, after that, let's go over and we're going to talk to her in the cage.
Observe and listen.
Questionable intellect. Unsurprising.
Release me, or enjoy a future as Geich.
What does Geich mean?
Mind flayers. The atrocities we are becoming.
Becoming? There's no hope for us, is there?
I know a remedy. Release me and I will share it.
Well, to get her down, all you really gotta do is use the ranged attack a couple times to destroy the weakened base on the bottom of her cage. The targeting is a little bit finicky here, you can see it, so we're going to just use Astarion, his ranged attack, to hit it. Even though we have the low ground disadvantage, it doesn't really matter here because we still have a 100% chance of hitting this thing. Be careful not to hit her inside the cage because otherwise you'll do damage to her and she won't like that. Just aim for that weakened base, and when you take it down, then she'll be free.
The tadpole hasn't yet scrambled all your senses. Auspicious. But the longer we wait, the more it consumes. My people possess the cure for this infection. I must find a creche. You will join me.
Careful. She obviously sees your kindness as weakness. Don't let her take advantage.
And what exactly is a creche?
It is many things. A hatchery, a training grounds, a shelter. Githyanki protocol is clear. When infected with a Geich tadpole, we must report to Augustil for purification.
I thought you already had a cure with you right here.
A pity that. I made an offer and you accepted. Your fantasy is not my burden.
Alright, we journey together. Let's find this creche.
You have made an ally from Creche Kalir. Few know such fortune. Call me Lae'zel.
I'll trust your judgment, but I won't trust her. Not until I've gotten the measure of her.
You've a sharp tongue, elf. Would that your mind proved its equal.
Half-elf. I suppose the finer details are lost on a creature like you.
Come. The Horned Ones mentioned a camp. One there, this Zoru, has seen Githyanki. A creche must be near. We will ask this Zoru where he has seen my kin.
Well, now that we have our full party back again, we're going to take a break here. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please consider hitting that like button. It really helps me out, as well as subscribe if you want to stay up to date with the rest of this series. I'll see you soon in part 3. Until then, thanks for watching and have a good day.